Let's be honest, moving in a city like Chicago can be a total nightmare. But what if it didn't have to be? In this quick briefing, we're going to pull back the curtain on the 2026 Chicago Moving Report and share the secrets to a smarter, way less stressful move in the Windy City. So, if you're getting ready to move here, you already know what's coming. The logistics, the stress, just trying to figure out parking. It's a lot to juggle in a city this alive. But what if I told you the difference between a smooth move and a complete disaster wasn't just luck? It's data. And today, we're unpacking the numbers that can give you a serious edge. All right, so first things first, let's get a bird's eye view of Chicago's moving market. The data we're about to dig into comes from a really deep dive into thousands of actual moves. And this analysis is no small feat. We're talking about a close look at nearly 2,600 residential moves from 2025, tracking a whopping $3.74 million in revenue across 18 key Chicago zip codes. The whole point? To spot the patterns that will help you plan a much better move in 2026. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's break this down by neighborhood, because this is where the data gets really interesting and, frankly, super useful for anyone getting ready to pack up boxes. The first thing that just jumps right out at you is how concentrated the market is. I mean, look at this. Lakeview, Lincoln Park, and Albany Park together make up more than 22% of all the moves. So what's the big takeaway here? If you're moving in or out of one of these hotspots, you gotta book your movers way in advance. In this table here, it tells a really interesting story. It's not just about what's popular, it's about what it's gonna cost you. You can see a really clear split between premium neighborhoods, standard ones, and the more budget-friendly areas. Knowing which tier your neighborhood is in, that's step one to setting a realistic budget. This chart really paints a picture, doesn't it? A move downtown is averaging over $1,700, but a similar move on the west side is closer to $1,000. And you might be asking, why the huge difference? Well, think about it. More walk-ups, stricter building rules, and don't even get me started on parking downtown and on the north side. It all adds up. So let's just boil it down to one number, $550. That's the potential price gap between a premium and a budget area for a very similar move. And let's be real, that's a serious chunk of change that could be back in your pocket. Okay, so knowing all this is great, but how do you actually use it to your advantage? Let's get into the practical, step-by-step game plan for a smarter move. We've basically boiled it all down into a simple 6-step blueprint. It all starts with knowing your budget, using the data we just saw. Timing is everything. Moving on a Tuesday instead of a Saturday can save your big time. You'll want to compare quotes, of course, but also check the fine print. Prep smart by getting rid of stuff you don't need, and just set yourself up for a smooth moving day. And look, part of this whole process is arming yourself with the right questions. Think of these as your secret weapon. Asking these simple questions will help you dodge hidden fees, make sure they have the right insurance, and, confirm you're hiring a company that's actually legit. All right, we've seen what a data smart move looks like. Now, let's take a quick peek under the hood and see how one company, Movers Chicago, is actually using technology to totally master this market. And you can see it right in their philosophy. Their president, Daniel Jordan, basically says they are all in on using the best tech out there to nail safety and efficiency. So let's see what that actually looks like. And that investment, it's paying off in a huge way. Check this out. By using things like AI-powered dash cams and real-time data, they've seen an 81% reduction in speeding. That's not a typo, 81%. And it goes beyond just speed. They've also cut down on those jerky driving moments, like slamming on the brakes or taking a turn too sharp, by 28%. That means a much smoother, safer ride for all your stuff. So what does all this tech and training actually lead to? How about this? Just 2 minor vehicle accidents in the last 5 years of being in business. In a city as wild as Chicago, that safety record is absolutely remarkable. So you see, this isn't just about stats on a page. This is about creating a culture of safety. It's about giving you peace of mind, and it protects everyone out there on the road. So let's tie this all together. What's the big takeaway for you? How does all this market data and a company's performance actually come together to give you a better move? Well, it really comes down to 2 key ingredients for what we'd call a perfect move. On one side, you have market intelligence. That's what gives you smart planning and fair pricing. And on the other, you have operational excellence. That's what ensures a safe, efficient, get-it-done-right move. So when you're planning your next move, the real question you have to ask is this: does your mover offer both? Because having one without the other just doesn't cut it. Finding a mover that brings both to the table, well, that's what makes all the difference.